Hello, beautiful people. Today we will be covering um, faith. So, as I told you before in our last episode, I was inspired to start this podcast um, while I was writing my cookbook. My cookbooks are called Gumbo for the Soul series. I wrote a cookbook for adults, and I also wrote a cookbook for children as well. In the cookbooks, not only do I have recipes, but I also have affirmations um, for the children's cookbook. I did an affirmation with each recipe and also in the adult cookbook. The subtitle of my cookbook for the adults is Affirmations, Faith, and Food. So I touched a little bit on affirmations in the last episode, and this episode we'll be talking about faith. So when you hear the word faith, what comes to mind? Well, when I think of the word faith, the only thing that comes to mind is a verse that I memorized when I was a child. It's Hebrew 11:1. Hebrews chapter 11 and verses 1. So I'm going to actually read that to you. And I'm going to be reading from the King James Version. Now, Hebrews 11:1 says, Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So my whole entire life, basically, that's what I believed about faith. When it comes to faith, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So my definition of faith is believing in something that you haven't seen. You have complete trust or confidence in someone or something. You don't have to see God to know that He exists. I mean, you see the evidence of everything that He has created all around us. So, I am a strong believer and a firm believer in God, and I'm also a believer in signs. So that's where my faith comes from. Me and God, we have a good track record, because I know that He has been taking care of me. Just from my background, everybody doesn't know this about me, but my real mom passed away when I was 3, and my brother was 5. So our maternal grandparents raised us, and if you do know me, you know that I call my grandparents my parents. So even though it's my granny and my papa that raised me, when I was going to school, everybody was always talking about their moms and dads. Of course, it's a natural thing. When you're a child, you want to be like everybody else. You don't want to miss out on things. So I remember coming home one day from school, and I remember asking, um, of course, she's my grandma, but I said, Mom, just like everybody else has a mom and dad, I was like, can we call y'all mom and dad? And she was like, yeah. Because it just made sense. We live with her. We were the grandchildren that my other cousins would come visit, but then they got to go home with their parents. But of course, we live with our grandparents because they were raising us. I didn't understand death or anything that went with that. I just knew that we were at our grandparents' house, and all of a sudden, our mom wasn't there anymore, so they became my parents. I had complete faith in, my mom at the time. Whatever she told me, that's what I believed. Whether it was negative or positive, that's what I had, faith or trust, or belief in. And that faith was strong, and still to this day is strong, because I can't remember of any instance where she ever um, was not honest with me. I really can't recall, her ever not being honest with me about anything. If I asked her anything, if she knew, she would tell me. If she didn't want to tell me, she'll tell me, no, that's for grown-ups, or we'll talk about that later. And if it was something that she didn't know, she would tell me, to go look it up. That's why, I'm the curious person I am today, it stems from that too, because she, even if she didn't know something, she bought all types of encyclopedias. And we had dictionaries, we had a children's encyclopedia, we had that Britannica encyclopedia, we had that World Encyclopedia. I mean, we even had Bible, encyclopedias. We had dictionaries, we had Bible dictionaries. So anytime I wanted to know something, I knew that if she didn't know it, I knew I could go look it up and I could find it. We didn't have Google back then. We didn't even have a computer back then. I'm an '80s baby. I was born in the '80s. I was born in '83 actually. But that ties into faith, because I had complete trust and I had complete confidence in my mom when I was growing up. She was the only person, that I knew, that was going to be there for me. And I knew she was going to have my back. But then she would explain things to me, and she would tell me, we had to give glory to God or give honor to God. And, I didn't know who this God person was, but I felt like if she had faith in this person, then I needed to have faith and trust in this person too, because she would tell me a lot of times when she did things, she would say, we were only able to do it because God allowed us to do it. God allowed this to happen. God allowed that to happen. We started, learning about, the creation of the world, and, the all the seasons and the different things that, we know that we learn, and we things that we see, evidence of God in nature. um, but getting back to the purpose for my cookbooks, like I said, I wrote the cookbooks because one of my happy places is being in the kitchen and cooking. So of course I had to tie into affirmations, faith, and food in my cookbook. So there are several different ways that I have relied on my faith, whether it's in good times or in bad times. I mean, you need to maintain your faith at all times. I mean, I don't really look at life as, oh, this is a good time, or, oh, this is a bad time. I mean, I'm a firm believer that everybody reaps what they sow. I'm also a firm believer in, everybody, has an assigned time. Everybody has a path, everybody has a plan. And I keep saying, I'm a firm believer in science as well. So if God made everything, and God is in control of everything, and I'm serving God, or I'm a servant of His, that means that there's decisions or choices that I can make. I have free will, so I can make choices. I can make decisions, and I talk a lot about self reflection. Part of my self reflection is that once I have done something or made a decision, or took a certain path, I go back, and I dissect, all the steps that led up to whatever decision I made. Like, what did I base my decision on? Did I base it on how I felt? Did I base it on what I was thinking? Um, I mean, like I say, every morning, I have that special private time. And part of that time, like I said, I do music, I do affirmations. And like I said before, an affirmation can also be a verse or a scripture. I, of course, during that time, of course, if I'm talking to anybody, I'm talking to God. So that's prayer. Um, but I also stay in a prayerful attitude during the day. um, as a mom and a parent, I'm faced with a lot of challenges in the run of a day. And also, I'm also a disabled veteran, so I have, you know, double duty, I guess you would say, because I have to keep myself in the right frame of mind to just keep pushing, just keep moving forward. I can't give into, all the aches and pains, and all the things that go along with me being a disabled veteran. Um, I have to do what I have to do when it comes to myself, and of course, when it comes to my children. So I rely heavily on my faith to get through each and every day, each and every moment of the day. And relying on faith has actually helped me to just take my days in pieces, or in sections, or in moments. So I don't. I think about the bigger picture, like I think about the whole day. Like I think about, we have a morning. We have an afternoon, we have an evening, of course, we have a night. So I just focus on getting through certain parts of the day. I just take it step by step, piece by piece. But I also, prepare myself the day before for the day that's coming. There's a lot of different things, far as what my children are going to eat, what they're going to wear. They have to go to the bathroom. They have to take a bath. They have to get dressed. With all those different things, there's steps to go with that. Like, I can't just wake up in the morning and say, "Oh, okay, they're hungry." No, I have to prep for things like that the night before. Certain things that I know they like to eat. And of course, they're going through that picky stage of they used to eat this and now they don't want it. And so I can buy something in bulk, and then 2 days later, they don't want that anymore. So I have to rely heavily on my faith when it comes to situations like that. I have to do things that bring me peace in order for my faith to stay strong. Because if I'm not at peace, then my faith is going to get pretty shaky if I'm not at peace. And as I said, one of the things that bring me peace is cooking. One of the things that bring me peace, is listening to music, reading my affirmations, or saying my affirmations to myself throughout the day. Um, I'm also thinking about I had a chance to actually watch a whole movie the other day, and it was a movie about being a mother, and it just kind of reminded me of all the strength and the courage and the steadfastness that it takes just to be a mother. Sometimes we have to make difficult decisions, for the sake of our children. We have to decide what's best for them, in every situation, every moment of the day. And we also have to remember that we're building their foundation. And like I keep saying, and I will keep saying it, our voice becomes their inner voice. So, we have to pour into them positive things. So I have to be an example of faith to my children, and then in turn to everyone else. So, if I'm always, down and sad, and, if I'm always saying, "Oh, I can't do this," or "I can't do that," that's what they're going to do, because they're going to model themselves, after whatever I show them or whatever I pour into them. And I'm not going to be that parent, that says, "Do as I say, but not as I do." I work hard on being able to do both. I want them to be able to do what I say and do what I do. So that means I have to match up the two. I have to show them, what it's like to have faith. I have to show them what I do to maintain my faith. And if my faith is not strong, that's going to affect me, on a mental level as well. I'm not going to, be in the right mood or have the right attitude. So affirmations also help, you to maintain your faith at all times. Also, with me having faith in God, or I have faith. I know that He's bigger than me. I know He's in charge of everything. So, I know it's okay for me to feel however I'm feeling about the situation, but I also know that He's in charge of the outcome. I have to do work. It's up to me to do the work that it takes to get to where I'm trying to go. And I know that as long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, He's going to do what He is supposed to do. Like, I have complete faith and trust in Him. It's not like, with another person, where you can't really depend on people. I've kind of learned that the hard way, during this season of my life. Everyone is not going to be there for you, like you have been or would be there for them. But I can't dwell on that. I can dwell on, the one person that I know for a fact he's going to be there for me, because he said he was going to be there for me. So I have to be careful that I don't doubt in my faith, because you can have faith, but you can also have doubt. But you have to figure out what is causing that doubt, and then you have to, you know, tell it to move around, because you don't have time for doubt. We only have time for faith. You can also, it's a good thing if you have a good support system, and it's good to have people around you, or surround yourself with people that are faithful people too, or they are working on being faithful people. Because it is true that you can be unequally yoked, whether that's with a partner or with a friend or with an employer. I mean, you have to surround yourself, do what it takes to surround yourself with other people, that are faithful or are walking, by faith or, through faith. And the other thing, you have to be able to find the good in every situation. You have to be thankful for everything, thankful for everybody, and thankful for every situation. In base in this walk that I've been walking, in this season and other seasons of my life, what I have figured out is that even if I get myself into a situation, because I've made bad choices, God, He never lets me stay in that situation for very long. And He also always makes a way for me to get out of it. I just have to recognize what he is presenting, or what the signs are. Like, I have to look for the signs. So like I said before, I am a disabled veteran. I chose to go to the military for several different reasons, but it wasn't a decision based on faith. uh I can't admit to that. It was not a decision based on faith. I prayed about it, but I didn't really listen. I had already made up my mind that that's what I was going to do. So, as a result, I'm now a disabled veteran. So I didn't get to do any of those things that I planned, because all I was thinking about was I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. I did not one time say, well, hopefully God will let me. Hopefully, this is a good thing. Hopefully, this is the right decision. Nope. I just made up my mind that I was going to do it. So as a result, I'm now a disabled veteran. But the good part of that, the good part of things is he did not let me stay in that situation for very long. He gave me an opportunity to get out of it, and I was still able, to receive, all the benefits and everything that I was entitled to, as a disabled veteran. And the same goes for, any type of any decision I've made in any relationships I've ever been in, whether, like I said, whether it's with a partner or whether it's with a job. I mean, he never lets me, it's like I learned my lesson. I know I have to reap what I sow. And it's like once that lesson is learned, I do everything in my power to get out of that situation. And then I may have to start over. I may have to, you know, move to another location. I may have to start over from scratch. But he always helps me when I'm in the situation. And I know for a fact that every situation that I've ever been in, it could have been 10 times worse if, I didn't have faith and if I didn't trust in God. So I would like to say today, to you beautiful people, you are smart, you are loved, you are blessed, and you can do anything. Make sure to remember that you are on a faith walk, and um, you have to talk it as well. You have to match up your actions with your words. So if you have faith in God and you take something to Him, leave it there. Listen, pay attention to all the signs. And thanks for listening. Until next time.